And another week has flown by. Hello everybody, Mad for Steam back with you again. This week we're going to be concentrating on putting the smokebox on. I thought that might be a quick video, but believe me it isn't. It's quite involved, and if we get time we'll be doing the cab as well. However, one of the most important things, and we've all been waiting for this, Mr. Mike Pavey has done the timing video. Way! Now, Mr. Pavey is an engineer, and he talks in engineer speak, but I'm going to give him full credit to say this time round he's come up with language that even I can understand. The video's short, only a couple of minutes, so please, whatever you do, stick around till the end. You'll see his timing video. And can you believe it? It's only 6 days to go before we go to the Mamod Forum's annual exhibition at Horncastle. I hope you can join me. And the big news from this week is Silver Crest still seem to be very happy with what we're doing, and they are going to collect the loco personally from me. Mike Pavey is going to hydraulically test the boiler. That's a dark art, but I'm sure there'll be a video. I've never seen that done before. Quite looking forward to it. And then they're inviting me down to the West Huntsville Model Engineering Society. Who knows where? Somewhere down in deepest Somerset, I believe. I'll have to check. All expenses paid. The loco will be there, Mike will be there, and they're going to teach me how to run it. So happy days, and thank you, Silver Crest. And this will be the last update on those lovely Model U figures. Yes, I've had some comments, and not one comment has said, leave them alone, don't give it a go. Johnny Croft said, leave your figures a black primer coat, then from the top of the figure only give them a hint of white. And Steam64 said you should definitely paint the figures, and he's kindly even offered to paint them for me. Now, there has been some email exchanges through the YouTube comment section, but Steam64 hasn't quite completed on that, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. Now, don't be too harsh, but there they are. Now, I know I said in one of my earlier videos I was going to buy some lost waxed castings of these lamps, but I didn't. I decided to 3D print them. So this lamp here is the finished result. That's 1.5mm brass, just bent round an X-Acto knife. And these are the kit of parts. So you've got the lamp top, and then you've got the sides that go on there, and they'll locate onto the lamp irons. Now remember, these are great Western style lights. The British Rail ones are round. The reason is the 1500 was originally made for the GWR, although as far as I'm aware, I don't think it ever ran. So you've got an oddity here. Great Western lights on a predominantly British Rail liveried 1500. And here's my attempt. Notice the lenses, I can never remember being dyslexic and dyspraxic if they're concave or concave goes in, convex, that's it. Why is dyslexia so hard to spell? Anyway, this one is the red tail light, and please leave in the comments, are these meant to be painted, the body, white or red? I know the Great Western ones were red. Were the BR ones white? So anyway, this is purely araldite, and all you do is you lay that flat and then drizzle araldite in there and let the meniscus naturally form over it. The red one, that wasn't too bad. All I did was I got my Vallejo red there, mixed that directly into the araldite, and then glooped it in the same way. Now, I do have my own 3D printing website, and that's called thatchworks.co.uk, predominantly selling kits for the 16mm world, but I will be putting these on there, and if you want a set, they'll be $15.95 to anywhere in the UK, including free P&P. And when I say the set, I mean the set of 3 unpainted. You won't get the brass handles. That's 1.5mm brass, and that's available from Cambrian Model Rail, but you will get the 3D printed components. Now, before we get on to the build, what's this bit? This is the bit that we didn't know. Now, an eagle-eyed viewer, John Cross Steam, he saw at about 10.5 minutes into last week's video that the ash pan was already fitted in place to the bottom of the boiler. And you know what? He's absolutely right. And also Flying Scotsman says he's got the pre-production model. The ash pan is fixed, unfortunately. However, you can tip the fire bars up and out on the bottom with a set of surgical tweezers, or use your poker. Now, I'm really not sure about this arrangement, guys. And girls, I want your comments, because I've never seen this before. Most ash pans drop straight from underneath the boiler. This is a sliding arrangement, so I presume, imagine your boiler's here. It slides in from underneath the model, and then to open it, you use your pokey tool to draw it back, and I presume it stays put on the sliders, otherwise it's just going to fall out. But that, to me, says that's a much smaller aperture than the base of the ash pan in the firebox. Is it big enough? Is it going to work? Am I going to have to brush ashes through the hole in the fire doors and push them down the hole? Please comment. Now, this is not a top tip, but I'm going to completely disagree with the instructions. What they're saying is, you notice I've fitted these blast pipe covers to the smoke box just purely for cosmetic reasons. They would have to come off. However, I am disagreeing with this, but I think you wouldn't put these covers on until the blast pipes, the exhaust pipes, are in place. It also says to put the smoke box on and then feed these blast pipes through the hole in the smoke box, and then you can connect these up. There is one major issue. It doesn't fit. Whoever has taken off these lubricator pipes, and they're quite thin and malleable, you can see, they've clearly bent them. So they're not going to go back exactly as they were taken out. So my strongest top tip of the entire world, before you fit the smoke box on, test fit the two blast pipes and make sure that the pipes from the lubricator are going to fit. Because if you've got to start putting your hand in the smoke box and getting in with spanners and try bending pipes or doing anything crazy, then that's going to be difficult. So do a test fit. That is now kind of to my satisfaction. Of course, it's all got to come off again, and then we can fit the smoke box for real. And once that smoke box is on, it's not coming off. Now, this isn't my top tip at Silver Crest, but I think I'll take it. When you take the bolts out from the blast pipes, they'd sit in there, that hole, you could easily drop a bolt. Imagine dropping a bolt down there into the cylinders. I found a roll plug, and look, push fit, nothing's going to go in there. So you've got to do that, because if you're as ham-fisted as I am, you're going to mess it up. Now, last week you may recall that I added the smoke box ring. I did mention, I think there's even a disclaimer saying that this part, the smoke box ring, needs to be sealed in with some sort of fire seal. Mr. Mike Pavey saw that and he said, now Mike's a great engineer, but he's a man of few words, and I got this email. If you don't seal the smoke box, the loco will not steam well. I've been told, so off it comes, and we're going to seal it in now. Now, the instructions mention various gloopy stuff, but I've gone for hotspot fire cement, and it's basically pop it into one of these caddies and squeeze it out. Now, here's another top tip that I've nicked off YouTube, and that is, rather than cut a slant on this nozzle, take a little nick out of the back, and that should help the gloop come out more easily. Now, we really shouldn't be doing this live, but hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start running my... That's it, perfect. You need two on this ideally. Oh, missed a bit. And missed a bit more. It's not going to be the neatest job in the world, I'll tell you that much. Well, I really messed that up, didn't I? And not only did I put it on the inside of the ring, it's far easier if you gloop it round the inside of the boiler wrapper. And forget my top tip about cutting a V. What an absolutely useless top tip. Sometimes I wonder about myself, you know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it manually. It might not be the neatest job in the world. I'll finish it off later. But at least I've had a go and no messy cleanup afterwards. What an ungodly mess. And I really want to clean this stuff off because it sticks like to a shovel. And if I don't, I'm going to be left, as you will see, look at this. It's all coming off. But this at least gives me a chance to show you one of my favourite polishes. And it's a model polish. So if you collect model cars, there you go. It's in drive or on drive colour wax. And well, as you can see, it comes up a treat. So we haven't filmed putting the smoke box back in because, to be honest with you, it took both of us. What we had to do is physically move the boiler fore and aft. Now my question was, this blast pipe that comes from the cylinders, both of them, up to the chimney, what if that happened to be the wrong way round when we put it on? That would have been awfully tight. Now there's no way we're taking the boiler off, unscrewing 4 bolts each side just to find out, so we had to find a workaround. The other issue was, you see this boiler band here, that was resting on this frame stretcher and preventing the smoke box here from resting on the saddle. So we had to physically jiggle the boiler to and fro and very gently move the boiler band here to allow the bolts, which go inside, by the way, from the smoke box. They bolt downwards and they're secured with these 2 nuts. The whole process took about 40 minutes, in fact. Yeah, it was a challenge. Now, getting these blast pipes, the exhaust pipes in, was quite fiddly. My suggestion is get the nut on these nipples firstly, and then we'll worry about the outside later. I don't know if you can see this down here, but once these blast pipes are in, locate the 4 Allen bolts and then don't screw them all the way in. Just gently ease them in, then tighten up that nipple, then go back forwards and backwards, and it will level itself out. Now, apologies for the state of this paintwork, but I tried extra primer, and obviously there must have been some deposits of oil. So in fiddling around, we've scratched it off. That does not matter, because when we get to the final part of the kit and start putting the Loco jewellery on, then that will all be covered by that piece there. However, before you install these 2 blast pipes, it's worth installing the smaller pipe that goes to the lubricator. There's one on either side. If you don't do that, you won't get your spanner in to this nut here to fully tighten it. So it's worth putting these on first, then pop the blast pipe into situ. Now I'm pretty fed up with using that gloop that was not super before, and so what I'm going to try and do is use our favourite Yongliang gasket maker, which I think will do the same stuff. Now what I have done is I've masked this area in here, so hopefully when I've glooped it in I can remove the mask and it'll be tidier. Now if you look at the instruction pictures, I've got to be honest, it's not very pretty in there. I'm sure it does the job, but I would rather it look a little bit nicer. So what I plan on doing is putting some of this in here. Right, that's filled in the hole, and hopefully My plan for it oozing out of the other side has worked, but I'll show you on this side. Now what I've actually done is make a cardboard template just to go round this blast pipe, and then use just some cheap masking tape. So whilst this is being glued in, hopefully the masking tape will protect it from going everywhere. Again, it's not a problem because we've got some Loco jewellery to go over the top, so that should tidy things up. So we've used that famous brand Yling Lang to fill round any gaps. The last part to put in is this piece, which drops in there, and that connects up to that nipple, and then we're done. I'm not going to do that on camera because you won't see me doing it because my hand will be in the way. Well, that has to be the yuckiest, messiest stage of the entire kit, and I thought we would get the cab done today, but hey, we've lost an hour's daylight in the UK. It's dark, we've got an edit to do, we're mindful you want to see what we've done. Everything's glooped in. I may have to re-gloop it because I really can't see what I'm doing. Just a reminder, before you shut proceedings off, put the smoke box dart back in. Everything is there. I think I can release my cable ties. We can shut shop for the night. Now, total build time. Well, we have 19 hours on the clock before today, and we can comfortably put another 4 hours on. So by my reckoning, that's a total of 23 hours. So that was absolutely mammoth. As you can see, we're still missing that elusive cab. Really sorry, folks. Thought we'd have time to put it on today, but I think you can see that smoke box was rather involved. Next weekend, we will be doing a video on Sunday, but on Saturday, of course, this Loco, in whatever state it's in, probably the state it's in now, will be going to the Mamod show at Horncastle. Hope you get a chance to see me then. I'm going to play out this evening with Mike Pavy's timing video, and hopefully that'll make sense to everybody. See you next week, Sunday evenings, remember, toot toot.
The basic position of the return crank is it follows the main crank pin by 90 degrees when the engine's running in a forward direction. So it always follows it by 90 degrees. So that's the basic setting position, and it's the same on the other side. If the engine's turning in a forwards direction, it will be behind the crank pin 90 degrees. To fine tune the position of the return crank, you'll have it fitted on its taper, but not too tight, just enough so that it stays where it is, but you can still move it. Now position the engine so that the crank pins are on the back dead center, so the crosshead is as far back as it goes, and then move the reversing lever forward and back, and the valve spindle should not move. If it moves, note which way this is driving it and move the return crank to correct it until you get it to a position where it doesn't move it. I've now moved the engine so that the crank pins are at the front dead center, so the crosshead is as far forward as it goes, and I'm repeating the same test. And I'm moving from forward to full back gear, and it's not moving the valve spindle. So you just have to fiddle about getting a compromise between the two so that it stays still on front and back dead centers. If there's a tiny bit of movement, as long as it's equal front and back, it won't make any difference.